What's up, guys? This is Paul Wog slash Chronically Tilted Poker, and today I'm going to do a little thing on GTO Poker Piosolver, and I'm going to take some guesses at what the solver is going to choose to do in random scenarios. So this is going to be a low jack is the out of position and button is in position. We see this a lot in live games because there's a lot of people calling, not as many people three betting. So this is a scenario I see a lot, and I have been working on the flop, the turn, and finally, for the first time ever, I'm dedicated studying the river, which is where all the value is. And I'm going to take guesses, and I'm going to talk about my let's do I'm going to talk about my thought process, why I think the solver does what it does, and we're going to choose a random board. We'll do one, two, three, four, five, and it's a king, queen, five board, and we're going to build this board. So we're building it. We're going to solve for it, and then we're going to guess what the solver likes to do. Okay. So this is 100 big blinds deep. We are going to play both sides of the equation, both in position and out of position. There's going to be a lot of different lines you can possibly take and a lot of different bet sizes. So I set it up where there's two bet sizes on the flop, three on the turn, and then river is big and small bet sizes, so two. And as we solve this, I'm going to make predictions. Okay, so flop. Let's go. Let's go with the line of out of position. This is the low jack. I'm going to say that this player should be betting, we'll say 70% of the time, maybe 65 to 70% of the time on the flop. Uh, Probably with two sizes, some large, mostly small. It's going to be close to a range bet, I think. Okay. With the in position player, there's going to be maybe 10% of check raises or of just raises. What hands you're going to choose are probably going to be you're going to be raising sets of fives, king, queen. You don't have kings in your range. You do have queens, but you're going to raise that as well. What are they going to choose for bluffs to balance that raising range? Is going to be like ace, three, four, two, with backdoor draws, and then maybe pocket twos, threes, fours. That's the raising range for the in position. The out of position low jack is going to probably be betting. Like I said, it's near range bet. They're going to be checking jacks, tens, nines. Value is going to be two pair. They're going to small bet pocket kings. They're going to big bet pocket queens. They're going to big bet ace king. Let's start to look at it. So this is just flop analysis. All right. So what did I say? About 65 to 70%. So they are betting mixed. It looks like it's not totally solved, but they are betting mixed. 45% small, 20% big. So this is 65%. What are they betting big? It looks like two pairs, king, queens. Ace, king, they are betting big. The small bets are all the kings. They're checking more often the tens, nines, jacks, the under pairs. Big bet is the fives. So I don't think this is going to change so much as the solver. Maybe fewer, they're betting less frequently, 60%. Less large because of the queen. The queen overall is good for the in position player's range. So let's bet small. So, like I said, we're going to be raising in position with two pairs sets. Jack 10 is going to be a bluff in position. Jack 10 here is betting for sure. All right. So 20% raises. That's pretty big raise. Where are they choosing? Sets, two pairs. draws. I want to make sure you can see it. Oh, if I move. Yeah, I guess you can see it. Down here where my face is, it shows the breakdown. Let's see if I should move myself up. We will move this as needed. We'll just smallen me. Okay. There you go. Let's see if they're doing any more. So you're check raising, or you're raising a lot. That is a line that I expected. 10-9 with backdoors. Jack 10 with backdoors. King Queen for value. So you're gonna have a balance of value and bluffs. Like I said, Ace 5. They didn't choose Ace 4 because it's not in their range. Ace 2, not so much. All right, so this is not one of those ones where you go like that. All right, so we're gonna go to the turn. We'll say it's a bet call, and let's do a random 9. Let's do 8 where draws don't come in. Oh, I didn't get to guess, so I'll have to do a different one. Let's go 4. So for the 4 comes for the out of position, I think that's generally pretty good. Does it help any? Does the in position player have any 2 pairs? Not really. Because both players have a lot of 2 pairs, bet sizes aren't going to be huge. I've noticed that when there are frequent 2 pairs, that actually is something to count for when you going huge versus medium size. So let's see. Then you're gonna bet 66%. Maybe there's a huge bet with pocket 5s or pocket 4s. Um, yeah, pocket 5s takes a huge bet. They like 66%. I think it's because if you look at 2 pairs, we don't have more 2 pairs. Um, because that queen is there. So that queen kind of is not great for the out of position original raiser, even though the king is good. All right, now let's say now we're going to go all the way to the river. We're only going to be talking about what the in position player does or the out position player. Okay, so now what I've noticed on the river is you should, if you're taking a bet line, you're still betting about 50% in every scenario. Frequency. The card determines the size. This is my observation. This is what I'm trying to figure out in the river. How frequently should I be betting? So let's go with a random. I can't really choose random right there. What did I choose? 3. Okay, so we'll pick a 3. I think we're going to be betting big with sets. We took a small line. So we'll be betting big with sets, 2 pairs. What are our bluffs if a 3 comes in? The 6, 7 is not really in anyone's range right now. If a 3 comes in, and we had an ace 2 here, we're betting that huge too. Um, so what we bet on the turn, like the backdoor spade draws, and the backdoor spade doesn't come in, we're gonna check that. We're checking those. Jack 10 is gonna be the bluff for huge bet. Jack 10 without spades. Ace 10 without spades. Ace Jack without spades. I think those are your huge bets. Because the spades, you need to have, like, if we're betting 50% of the time, we got to have plenty of bluffs. And I think you don't want to unblock, or you don't want to block their draws. So, like, 8-9 might be a great one. So, let's see. For big. Okay, everything's small. Why is everything small? Um, no, straights are big, sets are big, but we have the king high, so we can keep going after small stuff. So, but what are the bluffs? Jack 10. Notice here in the bottom here, without spades is the bluff. And we're betting far more than 50%. We're betting close to 60%, 62%. And we've chosen a low value line because the whole line was low. But we can go big. We can go all in with ace 2. You hit the nut flush or the nut straight, time to blast it. You have a set of 5s, time to blast it. 2 pair doesn't go for much value because you probably block the other player. King Jack, these are all just going after queens. See, Jack 9, The ones without spades are betting more often. Jack 10, the ones without spades are betting more often. Ace Jack, the ones without spades. Ace 10, the ones without spades. Pocket sixes sometimes goes huge. Pocket queens sometimes goes huge. Aces still go small. Okay, I mean, I have the right idea on which ones are going to go for bluff. Let's assume, okay, so we're going to take, well, I think everything's going to be a small line. Small line. 60%, everything's a small line. Okay, call. Let's assume, okay, let's change this. Let's assume an ace comes in. There's going to be a lot of small betting, but both players have Jack 10, so it will be small to medium size. Jack 10 might be the only big bet. Small to medium size, with Jack 10 being the only big bet. Okay. Small to medium size, Jack 10 being the only big bet. When you're betting big and you have Jack 10, you can also bluff with the other, with 10s, 10 9, Jack 9, anything in that area because you're blocking the other player from having it. So say you go big and they call, and then the turn is, so you already, now you've chose a big line on the bet. You're really saying you have Jack 10. I think you follow it up like with a shove with 10s, Jack 9, Jack 10. You just blast away here, and those are your bluffs. You follow it up, Jack 10. So Jack 9. You follow it up. Pocket 10s. You follow it up. 10 9, you follow it up. Um, let's see. Did they choose kings, queens? Yeah, there were some big bets here with the sets. Big bets with sets. So that's not the only one. So I'm putting in a random card that doesn't complete any straights. So you do follow this up. You got to bet, and this is 31, 60% of the time, 65% of the time. And you got to follow that up. Okay. Let's say this one. This one's going to be a 10. A lot of big bets because a lot of straights come in that are your straights. You have more ace jack than they do. They shouldn't have any ace jack offsuit. So there's 16 combos. And then you'll be going big, and when you can go big, you're gonna have to balance that a lot. So you get to use jacks as a bluff, a big bluff. Um, Kings for value, ace jack for value. If you're blocking that jack, you just blast off with that pocket pair of jacks. Now I'm gonna say you're gonna be betting 50% again on the river, and it's all gonna be big on a blank. So we'll say the blank is here, and it's all big. You got to just blast away with if you block these. You have the value. You have the value. You have the block. You're blocking your value. Blocking. Jacks just have to blast it. What does it? What doesn't bet big is going to be spade draws. Let's see. All the spade draws that miss, stop. Don't bet. I think that's what most people, and that's what I've been doing, is I'm betting my spade draws that miss, and that's just a bad idea. Sometimes I see these low pocket pairs that have somehow reached here go big as a bluff. I don't think that's wrong. But the key is you have to block the values. So you can just blast off if you block the value. Now let's say spade comes in. Okay. Uh there are gonna be big bets. You're gonna bet big with the ace of spades, with the ace, and then it's gonna turn into big bets with the ace of spades with ace of spades blockers as the, so you just find the blockers to bet the size that you're supposed to bet. So four, you're gonna miss. See, okay. So ace of spades is betting the nut flush is betting big, and by big it's all in. And I don't think I bet as much as all in as I need. If you're blocking all the possible spades, like ace jack of spades, and there's only a king of spades left, you might be betting smaller. A lot of these are betting for the straight to call. Ah, I love this one. Seven of spades. blasts off. Somehow they got here. Under pairs will blast off. Once again, what do you not now? Now there's not many bluffs. I don't think they take as many bluffs. Low pair turns into the bluffs. Low pair with a spade turns into the bluffs. That's value, value, and then you're just not going for value with too much because once it's in, once the flush is in, you have to have it or not because a lot of people get there. So you're gonna reduce sizing once both players can have the flush. Once all of your pairs, two pairs, sets, whatever, they all get negated because it's likely someone has a flush. You're only attacking other flushes and or the next best thing, which is a straight here. And you're attacking big bets with big flushes to attack the lower flushes, small bets with small flushes to attack the straight. But then once again, sets are just they're just calling. 80. Set of queens is folding. This is we're going back here. Set of queens is folding. Set of tens is folding. That's something I haven't studied too much right yet. Okay. So we got the bet down if so that's the bet river line. Now let's do the check. Oh, I didn't get to look. If you check, bets are going to start being big. 66%. What do we and then we call. Okay, so what's going to happen is the out of position player is going to check. Oh, they finally solved it. Check, and then the in position player is going to be polarized, and we're going to bet 125 again with sets two pairs, Jack 10 as the bluff. Sets two pairs, Jack 10, and it's 125%. So they like big bets at this point. If it's a call, whatever comes in, this out of position player is going to check. And then once again, you got to follow up with 50% betting. If you now you're out in position and you're taking the aggressive line, you got to follow up your river with at least 50% of betting. So I think it's going to be 50%. And then your bluffs are actually probably not going to include the Jack 10 because that means that they don't have a Jack 10 if maybe they were going there. There were no flush draws, so you're going to probably be betting for value with two pair sets, and then threes and fours, if somehow are in there, maybe sixes and sevens, pocket sixes, sevens are your bluffs. I think that's what we're gonna see, and there's gonna be a lot of all-ins. Sets, pocket fours. There you go. That's your bluff. What's not betting? Jack 10. So it's the ones where you had a good draw, like you're gonna be betting them on the turn, including some other hands. But on the river, you just got to give up with the ones where you just missed the draw. 10-9's better to bet because that you don't block them from having like ace jack or jack 10 in themselves. Ace 7 is a little bit better. The back or the middle pair with and then because you got the sets because you block them from having a set of eights. So now you're blocking the value here. And then here's your value. This is value. This is value. This is value. And you're going lower here because you just block them from having so much value that you just don't think that they're going to have anything to call down with. The fives, the eights, there shouldn't be any twos. So fives and eights are your big value. And then you use the pocket fours. So I find that really interesting. And remember, like I said, you're going to be betting 50% of the time still. How much of your range is okay? You have a set 23% of the time. You have two pair 22% of the time. So you got 40% of value, and then you got over 50% of trash. And of that 50% of trash, you got to bluff it. 50% of the time, you got to bet on the river. And they're huge bets. 70. Okay. Now let's do a delayed turn bet, and this will be that. So check, check, and it'll be a nothing card. Out of position once again. Now they're going to be betting big, more polarized. It's going to be sets two pairs. They would have just been, and then the Jack 10. Now it's big. It's going to be 125%. So quite frequently, it's big. less frequent, but where are your bluffs? Okay, so now we're betting 9. We're betting 125% with sets, 2 pairs. Sets, 2 pairs. Aces. Got to remember that. Ace, king. And then your bluffs are going to be ace, jack, ace 10. Jack 10 is betting. Now, if we had a backdoor flush draw in here, we'll add 7, the 6 of diamonds. I think you're going to be betting big with like an ace of diamonds, ace of diamonds. Suddenly the backdoor flush draw with the ace becomes a big bet. Now, if you bet big and get called and diamonds don't come in, you're not blasting away with that missed diamond draw. Check, 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 check. Everyone gets that wrong. Everyone loves to blast away with a missed flush draw. That's so wrong. I'm so happy I found that out. You missed the draw. Now let's see. You hit the draw. Now you're blasting away. You missed the draw. What are your bluffs? Sevens, middle pair. This is a value. What are your bluffs if you hit the draw? Sevens again. So pocket pairs that make it there. It's a blast off. This is value. These are value. You're checking the kings. Okay, so keys to this. On the river, you got to remember to follow through with your bets. GTO likes to follow through. You got to remember to balance them, and you got to bet big. So you got to put your balls to the wall on a triple barrel, and you got to show up with the right hands at that river to make the triple barrel work. Where you're playing pre-flop well, you're betting with the correct hands on the flop, and then you're betting with the correct hands on the turn, because it's a different ball game if we're going bet check check river. You're not going to be choosing the same hands. um, just remember, don't bet on the river with your missed flush draws. Those are the wrong bluffs. Everyone chooses those. And this is, I choose those. I think anyone that's okay chooses those, because you have to bluff and you missed your draw. But that is also going to get you in tons of trouble, because what do they show up with when you have the missed flush draw? They don't have a missed flush draw. They already had the value. And you have just shot yourself in the foot. So I think that's the takeaway for today's video. I'm going to do more of these because I'm testing myself each time I do one of these. I'm learning a little bit more. I'm finally completing um, study of the river. I've been trying to like comprehensively study each street. I did pre-flop maybe a year ago, turned it into flop the last like 9 months, was on the turn for maybe the last 6 months, and now the river. Um, I think I've missed a lot of value over the last couple years with missed bets on the river. I think when I ran really hot in 2.5 at the beginning of this year, I was aggressive and I was blasting off in the river. I didn't know why I was doing it, but I was just like, yeah, I got to leverage this. And then at some point I ran cold, and then I was like, wait, maybe that's not the right play. And I never studied the river. I just was like, all right, maybe I need to get a little ease off the gas a little bit. Um, and now coming back to it, realizing, yeah, you got to just blast off on the river a lot, especially against good players, especially sticky players, people who are coming to every river. And then when you blast off, their middle strength holdings are going to be interesting to see what they do with that. And then you're going to either get a lot of value, people trying to bluff catch, because every time you're blasting big, or you're going to get a lot of folds. And if they're right, you might have a bad day where you do it 5 times and it's 50-50 each time, and they guess right 5 times. And that will happen. Um, so, yeah, let me know what you think. And that's it for today. And I'll be doing some more online streams in the future, um, playing 10, 20 cent. Peace.